Archbishop KAZIMBA MUGALU came out to reveal that he cannot sacrifice himself to speak truth to power to an extent of dying. In fact, he compared himself to Janelum, who was murdered during Idi Amin's regime because of speaking against the injustices. When I see archbishops speaking like this, it shows you that we still have a long way to go when it comes to matters of constitutionalism and human rights. KAZIMBA MUGALU said these statements. I want you to listen very carefully because they are going to form a basis for a discussion. Here is the tape.
I am a person, I need life also. I have life to live. I am not a savior of the world to carry all your problems. You take them to the cross. I do my part, I leave them to God. I am not here to save you. I choose and I follow what God leads me to say. And not everything is said publicly. No, let me tell you.
So, first of all, KAZIMBA MUGALU is the head of church of the Protestants. For him to come out and utter those statements, it shows you how institutions in Uganda were subjugated. Because amidst the dictatorship, the authoritarian, the human rights abuses, I expect institutions to come out and speak. One of the institutions, the Pentecostal churches, the Protestants, the Catholics, the cultural institutions like the Uganda Kingdom, it normally does. Okay? But for the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda coming out to speak like that, it shows that we are subjugated. It is the reason why I will keep on saying this. When you are heading towards the 2026 generation, Father Dr. Muchibi was arrested because of money laundering. I don't want to speak against the case because they may be charged by sub-judice in court. But for me, I took it as a political statement. In 2021, the Catholic Church came out to a campaign openly for Robert Chagulanyi and Bobi Wine. And for the regime to arrest part of the father, they were sending a signal to other fathers who were planning to campaign for Bobi Wine that the same will happen. I may even bet my hand. Let's follow this case. I know it may not end up convicting this father, but it was a political statement. So even in the Protestant church, for the Archbishop to come out and say those statements, sending signals to juniors that they should desist from speaking against politics, which is unfortunate. I expect the church to speak out. Let's assume if Jesus came and he never fought for the downtrodden, for the human rights, even salvation wouldn't make any sense. And archbishops are taken as representatives of Jesus Christ and his ascendants. If the archbishop comes out to speak like this, it shows you how we are as Ugandans. Let's continue with the archbishop.
The power of Nathan's approach than the power of John the Baptist's approach. You can speak and speak and speak, no impact. You can speak, and John the Baptist did a good job. He ended up losing his head, and the mission ended there. Nathan did a good job, and he ended up saving someone's life. That's why we have Psalms 51. You can do God's work by approaching power with love, quietly, silently. You make an impact, but people are shouting and shouting, and they end up doing a lot of nothing.
So, first of all, Archbishop KAZIMBA MUGALU came out to talk about John the Baptist. John the Baptist is the biblical figure that the king's wife or the queen, the king honored his family for his head to be cut off. He was the prophet of God. In that same scenario, if you are speaking like that, if Jesus Christ never fought for people, salvation wouldn't have come because he was put on the cross for always speaking truth to power and spreading the gospel. As a Muslim, I believe one of the weakest action is not speaking up, being soft to power. Because according to our religion, they say if you see a bad thing, first of all, hate it. No, first of all, fight it. If you don't fight it, then talk about it. If you don't talk about it, hate it. But the last two latter are a sign of a weak leader. When they are abducting people, when they are killing people, election thuggery, and the leader of a faith that has very big representation comes out to speak like that, my heart shudders. Because I expect, even, because personally I normally follow politics across the world. Even when countries go to war, even when there is a civil war and people fight, the last resort is always the church, because we expect the church to be neutral, to speak the truth. So if they cannot speak the truth because they fear of death, yet they are the custodian of hope and success and the gospel. Because the reason why we study the gospel is not to fear death. The reason why we study Islam, Christianity, not to fear death, because this is the way to go. But the reason as to why we study the gospel is so that even if we die, we can conquer death. Almost 50 years after General was killed by the regime, we still speak about him. He's a hero. And we shall speak about him 1,000 years to come, because he conquered death, although he died. So the Archbishop coming out to say those statements, they were uncalled for. In fact, I take them as a message to other bishops that they should not speak truth to power. As their sheep or subordinates are being killed, maimed, arbitrary arrest, abductions, torture, etc. are taking place. Let's continue with Archbishop.
Time that we use one approach. No. Some people have approached me. Why don't you do like Janani Rumu? The man did a great. The man was killed. So do you think I can make an impact by being killed? And I say, Kazimba also is a good man who was killed. Don't I have a family? Why don't you really be sensitive?
So that is Kazimba Mugalu, and it was uncalled for. It mean by that statement, Paul was wrote on General Rumu's struggle. Yet you're in the same faith. You are pouring down the effort of a man who killed because of the constitutionalism and rule of law and because of faith. And a person doing so is the Archbishop. What a shame. In fact, it also concretes that we are under an authoritarian who can kill a person. Because the Archbishop coming out to say that he fears to speak truth to power because he may be killed, it shows how the regime of General Kaguta Museveni takes people's lives because of speaking. So that statement alone by the Chief Justice, by the Archbishop, was unfortunate. It must not have been spoken by the Chief Justice, by the Archbishop, pouring down to the struggles of General Lumu, not speaking truth to power. But also, on the flip side, he came out to say that the regime of General Kaguta Museveni can kill a person for as long as he comes out to speak truth to power. Of course, this is my opinion. I mean, it's truly Mr. Makinde. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I'm motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.